I'm Dana Minaya, and I definitely have something to say. I was raised in Oklahoma, Duncan, Oklahoma. It was like the headquarters at that time for Halliburton Oil Company. And in a lot of cases, your standing was based upon the corporation. So I said, that's not where I'm going to be. I'm not going to do that. I want my life to be devoted to people. My parents were scouts. They were scout leaders. And I guess my mother was an organizer because she was in charge of the Girl Scouting program for the county that we were in Oklahoma. My family was conservative, but at the same time, they loved fostering foreign students. My father would bring people into the home for special holidays. We had a high school foreign student exchange program, and we were the ones that housed that family. I guess this is something that my father learned when he was in college, what was to be gained by knowing people from other cultures. When foreign missionaries would come to speak at our church in this small town of 20,000, we were the ones that housed them. So I was very lucky in that respect. My college experience, I was in Texas at a small Presbyterian school, and at that particular school, of course, I took great interest in the international population there, and was always very interested in them. I was a pre-med major, but at the same time, when all of my friends were applying to medical school, we only chose the University of Texas medical school. And of course, I wanted to follow along with my friends. But at the same time, my brother was in college. So when I wrote and asked for scholarship help, I got a letter back that said, women need not apply if they need scholarship help. I also had an offer of a fellowship, teaching, what was it? Some sort of a fellowship to go to OU and study entomology. I said, let me take a break from study. So that's when I went into the Peace Corps in Ghana. And there I taught science. And there was a shortage of science teachers. So that was a very, very fulfilling experience, being able to live in another culture. At some point, they actually sent out recruiters to Ghana, and I had the choice of working in the sciences. I could have taught at the high school level, the junior high level. I chose the junior high level. I just continued throughout my career in education. I had such a volume of different types of experiences. And they started a bilingual program there, but even though my Spanish was middling, they invited me to teach science there. So, and I actually had a class one of my classes was of 5 kids that were Jibaros from Puerto Rico. And I said, what am I going to do with these kids? Because they didn't speak English, they spoke middling Spanish. But so I had a room where I was able to let them have the experience of having different types of animals and so forth, and they really related to that. At the same time, I went to the new school and learned Spanglish. So that augmented my little bit of high school Spanish. Um, it's interesting. At the end of the year, the kids said, "We have taught you so much Spanish." Never let on. But in that same program, Frank Minaya, my deceased husband, at some point met up, and he was very much into media, photography, and we sort of joined hands, and we had all sorts of kids involved in creating media. He loved actually augmenting their self-confidence in themselves, understanding how beautiful they were and so forth, because he had a perfect eye for shooting children of color, whereas other people did not. He knew how to shoot the best of them. So we had cameras, and then at some point we got the money, a huge grant, to do a studio, a whole TV studio for kids with the 3 cameras and the mixer and so forth. And because of that, Dr. Mario Salvadori came to us and I helped him to develop his curriculum, and we were able to film the program going on. So Frank's mother she knew he was a good organizer. Actually, I think I was a better organizer. He was the creative one, and I was the ultra logical one, very analytical. And so we meshed our 2 skills together. Being a good organizer is seeing the strengths of different people and getting them to team together and collaborate together, and just letting them ride with it, with their skills. I've done organizing in organizing the flea market fundraiser for our senior center. I've done it in the schools that I've worked in. In a lot of situations, it's been involved with group work. Let's see, I've done it here in the grounds with the volunteers. When my son was small, I used to be a guerrilla gardener. I would get all the kids to come out into the plaza and plant daffodil bulbs around the trees. It was foreboding at the time. But at one point, the committee knew I was interested in volunteer gardening, and I had asked to be able to do some of that around this particular building. And at the time, some members of the grounds committee at that time called on me and asked if I wouldn't start a volunteer program. So now some people have taken on particular areas to care for, to keep it weeded and so forth. But we also love it when we have like planting of bulbs, because sometimes even the kids will come out and plant bulbs, or the planting of annuals and so forth. And at this point, we have like whole groups of people that are very concerned about their buildings, but also the whole campus, beautifying the whole campus. So I've helped to organize the demonstrations on 125th. And one of the things that I've done for that is to have poster making parties for the community. Those have been very successful. Besides doing the No Kings and the John Lewis, we've had those big 4 major demonstrations here in the neighborhood, particularly for people who are not able to go downtown. The other thing that we have done is that we have started doing 15-minute demonstrations on the corner of 125th and Amsterdam, which is right here in the neighborhood. So I am in charge of bringing out, the honk signs. We have signs that people hold, and we encourage the cars, the buses, the trucks to honk as they pass by. And do they do it? We love it. And it's also good for the neighborhood because people passing by realize that there are people out there that are concerned about what's going on in our nation right now, and we're concerned about immigrants and so forth. For young people, I would say my whole thing has been just to, the word was like, I had a thought, to bring joy into your life. And with a purpose, make sure that whatever joy that you have has a purpose. So, or has an impact. How have I done it? I just enjoy doing things that for people. And try to do things for the planet. Not for, not be so concerned about money or being greedy with money, but for giving to our planet, to our earth. Base your future career on what's going to make you happy, not what's going to bring you a load of money. Does money bring you happiness? It certainly doesn't.